friends, it's Tracey from Tea Time with Tracey and Friends and Company and all that jazz. I wanted to try to do potential reads TBR video. I have a bunch of books here. I don't know if I'll get a chance to read them all. I don't know whether I'm going to go buck wild and go off-road and not read any of them and read other stuff. We'll see, but I'm just going to jump right in. I always pick way more than I think that I can read, but the past 2 months I've read more in a month than I ever have in my entire life. So we'll see. So I'm just going to jump in. I read book 1 and 2 in this trilogy. It's the Game Maker series by Tracey Cole. This would be a reread for me, but I've read it so long ago I forget what it's about. The first two, like, they're brothers. There's 3 brothers, and they all have their own story. And they're Russian, and they're rich. And there's spicy, smutty stuff in it. Anyways, this is part 3, but you can read them individually, like they're all separate stories. This one's called The Player. The other ones were The Master, and one was The Professional, I think. I forget which order they go in. But that one, Tracey Cole, huge fangirl here. This one is by Mo Hader. It's called Pop It. I have been working my way through this series of hers. It's the Jack Cafferty series. It's like a crime DI detective, but very disturbing books. They're not just easygoing crime, criminal thriller books. These have very disturbing things in it. This is book 4 or 5, maybe 6, I forget. I've read all the other ones. I think I have 1 or 2 more in this series to read. I know this one follows... It's surrounded around a mental ward. That's really all I know about it. I can't wait to read it. And yeah, 5 stars, all of the other ones I've ever read. So I'm looking forward to this one. All right, this one. It's not really the time of year to read this, Voices in the Snow, but I've been meaning to read this for a while now. I've read 2 other Darcy Coates books. One was The Haunting of Ash Manor, and one was The Carrow Haunt or something. This takes place in winter. That's all I know. I think there's a snowstorm and they get stuck somewheres. But her books are like horror books, but soft horror. That's how I would describe it, at least the ones that I've read. They're not really grotesque or scary. They're like soft horror. And, you know how people like cozy mysteries? This would be like a cozy horror, I'm thinking. That's what the other ones were for me. Anyways. This one was on my TBR a couple of months ago. The Book of M. I'm going to see if I can get to it this month. I don't know. It's about an older couple. This is over in Asia. I believe there's some sort of phenomenon going on around the world where people start losing their shadow. And when they lose their shadow, they forget who they are and they slowly go insane. This elderly couple goes to live out in the woods somewheres to hope to avoid this. And they're successful for quite a long time, and then either the husband or wife starts to lose their shadow, and it goes from there. That's all I know. I have a whole bunch of books on, like, dystopian, end of the world kind of stuff, and this would be in that category for me. This is a classic. All I know is that it's disturbing and depraved. The Marquis de Sade, The 120 Days of Sodom. I've had it for a while. It seems quite dense, but I want to read it and see what the big whoop is. I guess it's very disturbing. I'm not sure. If you've read it, let me know. I'm going to try to squeeze that in. We'll see how it goes. This one, I got this the beginning of the year. I bought it secondhand, offside. It's not generally the type of books that I read, but I'm trying to get into hockey romances sometimes. Like, they're just more of a comfort thing, I guess. This is about, what I know of it about is the big hockey team, the lead player of that team. It's the main character is the girlfriend of the head guy of that team. He breaks up with her on her birthday, and they've been together for a few years now. Anyway, she's heartbroken. She thought that he was going to ask her to marry her and stuff, but he ends up breaking up with her. She goes out and cross paths with the rival team head guy, and I think they hook up, and that's all I really know about it. So I think it's, I don't know if it's romantic comedy or just like a contemporary romance. I'm not sure. But that one. This one by Danielle Laurie, The Sweetest Oblivion. I read one of these books. This is a trilogy, but you can read them as standalone. I read book number 3 a couple of years ago. I think I have a video on it. But this is book 1 in that series, and it's mafia. It's mafia. That's all I know about it. Arranged marriage, something like that. I'm not sure. But this one, it's not very long. I just thought to mix it up. Oh, this is a horror. I bought it secondhand when I was out west. I have a haul to do with books I got out west. Anyways. Oh no. Maybe I didn't get that out there. It has a thrift books sticker on. Anyways, it was the Timberland Regional Library book, but thrift books. Jonathan Janz, he's a horror author. Don't think I've read anything by him, but this is called Nightmare Girl, and I don't know anything about it. But it's not a long one. I'm going to try this one on for size. This is a duet. I've had this for years. I read the first book years ago. Never read the second book. I remember the first book, kind of what it's about. He's an underground fighter. They're just little. Underground fighter, and she's not. And she goes to one of his fights and ends up talking to somebody there. And turns out he has some sort of kind of fetish or something, and she's interested in it, and that's all I'll say about it. I've had these, I never finished it, and it's been so long, I forget, kind of. I want to try to slip these in under the wire and get that. This, where is it? I've already started this. Today's June 3rd. I've already started it, not much into it. This and this are the same story, they're just different covers. I didn't realize that when I bought them. By Mark Morris. I've never read anything by him. This is his debut novel. It's like 700 pages. I thought, I was planning on reading a bunch of horror this month, like for summertime horror. I thought this was summer. It's not. It takes place in January, but I'm loving the story so much. What I can say so far, it's almost like a coming of age horror. The main characters are like between the ages of 14 and 18. I'll say a Ouija board. I'll say some sort of demonic presence. And it's over in the UK somewheres. And I love it so far. I'm only like 173 pages. But it's like literally 701 pages. So, yeah, I am totally loving this. And I want to finish that. Here's another one I want to read this month. It was on last month's pile. It's a trilogy. This is the first book, Kill River. I believe it has to do with a water park or something. And it's just like a slasher movie. So I'm assuming they're at a water park and people get killed. I don't know. But I was trying to read this stuff before summer so I can do a summer horror video. I don't know. This one, Tilly Cole. I love Tilly Cole. I know there's been some controversy. I love Tilly Cole. She does dark and does dark good. And this is her Hades Hangman series book. I forget which number this is, 5 or 6. I've read all of them up until this one last year, but I was kind of on hiatus with BookTube. Anyways, it's a motorcycle gang. The motorcycle guys are the good guys. Cult, KKK, dark stuff, dark, messy stuff. Anyways, yeah, that's all I can say. Another horror I'm hoping to read this month, The Summer I Died by Ryan C. Thomas. It's not long, but it's quite wordy. I don't really know about this. I think there's teenagers get lost in the woods and come across a madman. That's all I can say. I don't know, but it's a horror, summer horror. My microwave's going off. I was defrosting some wings. Just a minute. All right. Another summer horror, Camp Carnage. Don't know anything about it. It seems like it reminds me of like when I was a child watching like Sleepaway Camp. If you know, you know. I'm assuming it takes part at a camp, and There's carnage going on. That's all I can say. I don't know. This one, Sinner by Sierra Simone. I read Priest a couple of months ago, I think. This is book 2. The last one is Saint. I don't have that book, but you can read them as standalones. This one is about the brother of the guy that was in Priest. He's a successful businessman, I believe, and it involves a young woman who wants to become a nun. I'm assuming she's not a nun yet. She's in the process of becoming a nun, and they start tangoing, I guess. This is following, I read 3 of this series last month, Laura Lee's Breed series. This is the next book. I think it's this one. It's the next one in the series. I'm trying to work my way through this series, and I don't know what it's about. So that. I've had this book for a couple of years. Kristen Ashley, Lady Luck. It's a chunker. Colorado Mountain series. It must be a series. I don't generally gravitate towards books that look like this. This looks like it's a fluffy, not whatever, but I think I heard somebody talk about it, so I bought it secondhand. Yeah, secondhand somewheres. And what I remember of what they were saying about it, this young woman is pressured into picking somebody up from jail. She doesn't know the person, but she has no choice but to go be the driver to pick this person up from jail or the penitentiary or something. And that's all I know. She's kind of pressured, manipulated into doing it. And it goes from there. That's all I can say. Here's a duology. His Precious Burden, His Pretty Little Burden, His Pretty Little Queen. I believe it's just mafia romance. I think there's a big age gap, and there's probably a lot of spicy spice mafia. That's all I can say. The Last House on Needless Street. Just a second. Okay, The Last House on Needless Street. I believe this is a horror. I don't think like extreme horror or anything like that. It was quite popular a couple of years ago. I think it has to do with a house on Needless Street, and there's an old man in it and the cat that can talk or something. Oh, here comes my son. Just a minute. Yeah, so I guess the cat talks, and when people talk about this book, they don't really get into it, so I don't know what the big twist or whatever it is about it. I don't know. Last but not least that I have here is Beautiful Carnage. I've had this for a while too. Bought it used. Like I say, I buy most stuff used. And I think this is maybe an arranged marriage, or dad's best friend, or big age gap, something. I'm not sure. I've had it for a while. I'm not really drawn to it. I don't know why I have it, but I have it, so I'm going to read it. And if I don't end up liking it, I will find a new home for it, but I just want to read it because I have it, and I don't want to waste my money on books that I don't read. So that's all I can think. I am going to say, though, I'm going to work through the Cressley Cole Immortals After Dark Series 2. There's a whole bunch of books in that. And this go around, I'm listening to them on audio because I have all the paperback books. I've read them before. Excuse me. But I had the audios too. So as I do my housework or go for drives and stuff, I'm listening to the Immortals After Dark. So I'll give you a heads up about how many I read this month. Yeah. And then at my wrap up at the end of the month, I'll tell you. So that's all I have. And hopefully I can get through those horror books. So I already have a basket behind you guys of horror books that are based kind of in summer. And I just want to add those 3 to it if I think that they're worth reading. So anyways, I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. But if not, that's okay too. I still love ya. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, okay, guys, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning. And I will see you sometime soon. Bye. boing.